Hello, I'm the official name raider. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're looking at Budew, Roselia, and Roserade. More Sinnoh than Hoenn, but Roselia was introduced first. This will be in both the Hoenn and Sinnoh playlist. I'll acknowledge it, but I don't really think it's all that great. Is it clever? Maybe a little bit. You just added one S, so that's something. I remember the mask being a thing. I think it's supposed to be like the hardest unlockable in all of PBR or something like that. I don't know. I remember the mask being a big deal. Okay, I don't Kingdom Hearts, but the description sounds like it would work, so if anyone's got any extra opinions they'd like to add, I'm always willing to listen. If you want to make a Kingdom Hearts reference and you think this one's good, there you go. This is basically kind of what I was expecting up front. I remember one of the first nicknames I saw my brother name Roselia was Adam Rose after wrestler, so Axl Rose. I get it. I think in general they're both kind of pitifully uncreative, so I don't really care for either of them, but I understand, I guess. This one I don't necessarily think is the best, but I remember using it, I think, for Pet Lil, and that was because I was like, wow, there's absolutely nothing good for Pet Little. Let me just take the piece of broken glass and ingest that one, and just to say I can feel something. So if you wanted to use Flower Girl, because that's a thing, I guess it could technically apply to Roserade, the Roselia line. In general, again, I don't think it's that great, but it is an idea. Okay, so there's actually quite a bit going on here. So, Rosebud Jr., you get it, Rosebud, that's like an old film trope from a thing I don't even remember, I just know that it exists and that's it. And then we've got Budweiser, which I get it, because Bud, there you go. So like that, in a weird way I could kind of see Budweiser being an okay nickname. Would I use it for Roserade? No. Do I understand why you picked it for Budew? Yes. But now it also makes me curious what other Pokemon could fit Budweiser. Mountain Dew, which I feel like we've seen before. Do I think it fits at all? No. Like, I get it, Bud, Dew, there you go. Who would fit Mountain Dew? I don't fucking know, but there's another idea for you. And lastly, Gerber, because Gerber Baby. These are all actually halfway decent nicknames that are like worth talking about. It's just incredibly all over the place. Like, I understand where their minds are, how they process this, how they came to this. But man, would I not use any of these for fucking Roserade. And I don't think anyone out there is crazy enough to just use Budew. I guess I could see that with the whole mask thing going on. Instead of Mardi Gras, it could be like a Sly Cooper mask. So I think Leaf Thief is fucking corny. But I sort of understand why you would think the Thief thing at very least. And I guess I'll acknowledge Rosalina, same kind of vein as Axl Rose and Adam Rose, where I don't necessarily think it's good because it just feels a little too on the nose. We got it at the Rose kind of thing. So like, if you wanted to because you like Rosalina, fine, whatever, but I don't necessarily think it's that creative. I'll acknowledge Belladonna because I'm pretty sure it was a topic in the Victory Bell episode, because I want to say I used Belladonna for Victory Bell and the same reason of Flower Girl for Pet Little. Desperation. You don't always have to settle for a bad nickname just because you're fucking desperate. I think it's better to have no nickname than a crappy nickname. Do I think it's bad? Not really, but I don't think it's special either. Just know that this was one that I considered and rejected. Okay, Viridi I'm all in on. I'm fine with that. I will say though that I do think Kid Icarus Uprising is actually much better than you would expect. Like, that game is loaded with the personality, and Viridi is pretty good. So I'm fine with that. That stands out. It works on its own. Works with the whole nature grass motif. You could probably throw this onto a bunch of different grass type Pokemon that'll fit. I've also seen this one before, and I kind of like the idea of Corsage, just because, like, I don't know, I feel like that's just a thing not many people think of, just as a word. I also thought of Bouquet as well. Just other flower-based nicknames that are much better than anything that has the word rose in it. Okay, I wanted to acknowledge this, but the one below it actually made me laugh for a minute. Thornhub is fucking stupid and I love it. There you go. That's gonna be at the end of my recommendations. That's fucking dumb and I love that. Making me laugh is always a good start. But Ivy, Poison Ivy, I completely get it because we're always thinking about Batman, and Poison Ivy's just a cool character, so like I'm all about referencing that. The problem is just, again, Poison Ivy's got a shit name. If it had something more original, like, then it would stand out better, but then the simplicity of naming the character Poison Ivy was also real good. If they weren't thinking about Pokemon, I don't blame them. But regardless, both of these are good. I really like Thornhub though. That one's fucking dumb. Okay, it's been a few days since I've had to mock this guy. So, as a general rule, my opinion, if you put Rose in any shape or form into Roserade's nickname, it's not nearly as good. So, Rosalina, Rosario, it's off the table, don't like it, I don't care. Flower Dance, Dancer, don't care, not interesting, boring. Poison Ivy, we already talked about. Rose, Rosalina, I just made fun of literally 3 seconds ago. Plant Man is fucking stupid. Rose Hero, yet again, I just made fun of 5 seconds ago. He's beating the fact that it's a rose into your head. Do you get it? You're clearly a fucking idiot. Velino, which is just Italian, I don't necessarily think naming your Pokemon Poison is very interesting as a name. On the flip side, though, Poison happens to be a band, so I can sort of understand why someone would do it, but just in general, like, imagine this guy, you're fighting this guy, right? And he sends out Dragonite, or no, let's pick something else better. He sends out Rayquaza, and it says, "Go Dragon!" Would you not stop and think that man's a fucking idiot? Because he is. And then the mask, instead of that, if you want to do the mask, like as a reference to maybe fucking the film, that's a little bit better. Is it that great? No, not in particular, but you're highlighting both the fact that Roserade is wearing a mask with just a pretty crazy film of a similar name. So it's not the best, but I mean, it's better than the mask, for sure. Guns N' Roses might be the closest exception I'd be willing to make to this, but I still don't think I would recommend using it. I understand it. I'm going to say Guns N' Roses is going to be better than Axl Rose by like a lot, but still, we're beating it over your head. You don't fucking get it. You're clearly stupid. Please, treat people like they're dumb. That's exactly what they want in life. That really fucked me up, though, because it said you, and I was like, that's not me. Alright, I'm gonna acknowledge a couple things real quick. Firstly, I've seen, like, masquerade just as a word several thousand times already. Like, we get it, okay? I'm gonna acknowledge it. I'm gonna move on. Do I think it's interesting? No. Honestly, I'm kind of at this point where, like, I've seen enough stupidity that it's actually kind of got me a little angry now. But Flowey was really the main thing I kind of want to talk about. Do I think it's... I mean, in general, I don't think it's that good of a name. I think it's going to be better for Sunflora than anything, but if for whatever fucking reason you want to put it on your Roserade, it's another flower, I guess, but I don't think anyone's going to think Rose equals Flowey. Okay. So, in general, it's just because his name, I feel like, is so boring compared to a lot of the other characters in Pokemon. But it is his signature Pokemon. And it also took me, like, a very long time to realize that his color scheme and Harley's color scheme are literally the same color scheme. It wasn't until, like, the end of the Battle Frontier arc that I was like, they're the same. But anyway, Roserade is Drew's signature thing. If you want to do that, signature trainers are always okay with me. I'm fine with it. I feel like his name is a little bit more boring than something like Blaine, Surge, Misty, for instance. Okay, we've reached the bottom. There was actually a lot more suggestions than I was expecting. I didn't expect it to be this plentiful. And the thing that annoys me is, despite there being a lot of stuff for me to read and talk about, a lot of it was just, how can we take the word rose and change it in some variation to be a nickname? So that got on my nerves after a little bit. It's been like, about 30 minutes of me recording, so 30 minutes of just being hit in the face and called, you're an idiot, name it Rose, kind of got annoying. Checking the spreadsheet, there's just this one. I don't know, I don't care, I'm moving on. The ones that I really want to highlight were Veridi, which I liked, Thornhub, which I thought was funny, and then I saw this in a previous episode, I don't remember which one, but I'm pretty sure in that episode I said something like, oh, I've got a new Roserade nickname now, so if any of you are crazy enough and know which episode that is, then you know where I found it. Somebody said death petal, like leaf petal, but you know, death metal, death petal. I love that. That is so dumb, but I love that. That's clever. I'm using that. I'm not changing it for anything. I think that's really good. Thorn hub, I feel like is kind of a missed opportunity because I'm like, well, I don't think there's going to be any other instances where I can use that. But I really like death petal. I think it's a real good name. It also kind of, I mean, I'm going to say if it's just because Roserade's really strong, like way stronger than you would actually expect. It's kind of weird. But those are the ones that I think were decent. I mean, there was quite a bit to talk about, so hopefully you found at least one that you liked above all else. But provide any ideas and suggestions you have in the comments below, whether I like it or not. Remember, you're not trying to appeal to just me. There's people coming to this video who are looking for help as well, and they would like your help as well. So whatever you have might not strike my fancy, it might strike someone else's. That's what the comments are for, so do what you do. Give a thumbs up to the good ones.